Hello everyone. This lecture are going to talk about unstructured data. What is the meaning of unstructured data and what are the characteristics associated with it? How do we use it? How do we use it? So unstructured data, again, as you can think, it is just opposite to your structured data. There are no rows and columns associated, there is no table associated. It can be any type of data which does not conform to a data model. With structured data, it was mandatory to conform to a data model, but for unstructured data, it is not mandatory to conform to a data model. Also, unstructured data, most of the times, it does not have any type of identifiable structure. You cannot put it into a structure and say that this is the standard structure which can be used for unstructured data. Again, as a case or as an example to understand, we will take up images and videos. How you are going to put videos in a structured format? How can you do that? You cannot break that file of 50 MBs or 500 MBs in size. You cannot do that. But at the same time, you want to extract value from it. You want to know what it is about. You want to know what is used. You want to know what is the implication of it. How will you do that? It becomes challenging. Any type of data which cannot be mapped to a data model, which cannot be put into a well-defined structure, that data is called as unstructured data. Talking about the characteristics of unstructured data. So here we will be able to better understand about it. It does not conform to any data model. So initially, people tried to create data models which could adapt or store unstructured data, but it did not happen, right? So there is no standard data model till date which can be used to classify or to store unstructured data. And correspondingly, we can say that unstructured data is the data which does not conform to any data model till date. It cannot be stored in form of rows and columns as in a database. So that is the one direct stark difference between both the two. First one is one conforms to data model, other does not. One data is stored in rows and columns, for the other it is not stored in rows and columns. Third point is unstructured data does not exist in any format or sequence. There is no format or sequence for unstructured data, whereas for structured data we had particular meanings and categorization of how it would be stored. But for unstructured data, we don't have any sort of format or sequence. Unstructured data is not easily usable by a program. So for many years, unstructured data was kept as it is because we were not able to use it, we were not able to process it, we were not able to analyze it. But then we started to apply image recognition, started to apply facial recognition, right? And writing analysis. Slowly, those fields or dimensions emerged, and that led to the use of this unstructured data, which is huge in size. And now, with the potential creation of, we have like many GBs of unstructured data which is present around the world, and that gives us a lot of scope to analyze that data, right? But till now, if it was up to me, I would say that 85% or nearly 90% of the value which can be taken out of unstructured data has not been taken out because we have not developed smart enough technology for it. Many giants in the industry are working on image recognition all the time, and the data which is used is the data which is generated by us, the images, the inventory which is available online. Next point, does not follow any rules or semantics. Again, if you have a collection of 150,000 images, you cannot apply any type of rule on those images. There are 150 students in one group, supposedly. Those 150 students have Twitter account, Facebook account, Instagram account, Pinterest account, and YouTube account. Images are being put on every account. Captions are being uploaded. People are being tagged. There are no rules associated with it. Maybe if I apply some algorithms, I can understand that 50 people out of that group are the active ones. Out of those 50 people, only 10 are connected with one another. If one person is uploading a picture, he is going to tag the other one. The chain is there, right? Those rules or semantics can be generated once we analyze that data, but for data as a whole, you cannot say that so and so rule is going to definitely apply to that dump of unstructured data. Then we have no easily identifiable structure. Again, same thing. So revising all of that, unstructured data is the data which does not conform to any type of data model. Any type of data model. It cannot be stored in the form of rows and columns. It cannot be stored in any particular format or sequence. It is not easily usable by any program. It does not follow any rules or semantics. It has no easily identifiable structure. These are the characteristics of unstructured data. These very same characteristics can be used to define unstructured data. Sources of unstructured data. So we have web pages, which are big sources of unstructured data. There is no structure. Anyone launches a website, he or she is going to do whatever he or she wants to do. There is no particular format to do it. Now if you go to Google Sites, if you go to WordPress, they are providing specific designs. You can add an image or videos in that, but a specific structure has to be followed, because that puts it into the category of semi-structured data, which is better than unstructured data. So currently web pages are a huge source of unstructured data. Memos, which are generated by companies, industries, meeting reminders, all of those written stuff is also falls under unstructured data. Then we have videos, a huge source of unstructured data. Images in any format, JPG, GIF, PNG, any format, again unstructured data. Body of an email, you might think that the body of an email is normal, only words are used, no superhuman language is used in the body of an email. Then how is it unstructured? It is unstructured because you cannot classify it, you cannot classify the entire body in a structure. Some mail might be written with some motive, some other might be written with some other motive. There is no association which you can make, there is no categorization which you can make. So simply it falls under the category of unstructured data. Your Word documents, your PowerPoint presentations, the chats which we do, lots and lots of chats, the reports being generated, the surveys, white papers, all of these data, they fall under the category of unstructured data. And again, it is not a very hard demarcation that this is going to be unstructured only. it purely depends on the nature of actual data. Only after looking at the actual data you can decide whether it is unstructured or structured or semi-structured in nature. To understand better, if you have a web page, that web page is going to have some text, introductory text, right? It is going to have some type of video or small animation or a presentation to clear out the aims of that website, some sort of image or banner, header or poster type of a thing, some type of XML to encode and put everything into place in the web page, some sort of database associated with it to keep check of the number of users which accessed that particular web page. All of these types or entities, I would say, they are different in themselves, and when you combine them together you get a byproduct in the form of unstructured data. What are the challenges faced while storing unstructured data? The first one is storage space. Again, because multimedia, so no, multimedia data, not storage. Multimedia data takes up a lot of space. So storage is a huge challenge for unstructured data. How are you going to store? What pattern you're going to use? What type of formatting you're going to use? What type of device you're going to use? It becomes a challenge with respect to unstructured. Scalability. Again, if for Instagram, all of us have like 5 GB. No, let's take up the example of Gmail. 15 GB of space is allotted to everyone for free, right? As an incentive to come up to Gmail. What happens if you cross that 15 GB? Your cloud service provider is going to scale you up for that. But if you are working on a program and in your system you have a limited space which you have reserved for storing images, now you want to add videos to that storage as well. How are you going to do that, right? With respect to your data coding strategy, is going to be challenging. So scalability is again an issue when we talk about unstructured data, and they go hand in hand, storage and scalability with respect to unstructured data. Storage is difficult, and that is why scalability is difficult. In structured data, storage was easy, you just had tables. Scalability was also easy, you had to multiply the number of tables. Over here you don't know what you're storing altogether. How will you scale? What strategy are you going to use to retrieving information? Retrieving information is difficult. Again, it was a huge challenge to find out information out of the images. What were they trying to say? We had no idea. Then we started to apply pattern recognition. We started to identify patterns, started to learn different traits. That box looks like that, cat looks like that, apple looks like that. In an image, sunset looks like that. Everything started to evolve, and after that we began to retrieve information out of it. Earlier it was really difficult. Today also it is difficult. Overall, retrieving information out of unstructured data is not easy to do. Security. Again, how you're going to encrypt it, and even if you're going to encrypt it, what particular strategy will you use? Maybe you will have maybe you will have to use same cryptographic algorithm across all of your images, videos and web pages, right? That might make it easier to break. The hacker have to just crack that one algorithm which is used for encryption. Many challenges come with respect to security also, because it is difficult to do. And lastly, these two things: updating, deleting, indexing and searching. Updating is difficult. How are you going to update an image, right? You cannot update. You can simply delete and insert the new image. You can simply, for example, in YouTube also, if I upload one video and then I delete it, or maybe I want to make changes in that video, I cannot do it. I will have to delete the video, make the changes and then upload it again. Updating is a big challenge. Deletion also, if I want to just delete the 5 seconds where I was abusing someone, I want to delete those 5 seconds. I won't be able to do it. I will have to use specific software to remove that snippet out of the video. So deletion also becomes difficult in unstructured data. Indexing and searching. How are you going to index a video? How you're going to index images? You can simply use serial numbers, but you cannot use particular indexes. And even if you do use them, what is the association? How you're going to find which index is associated with which image or with which video, right? So it same thing, it makes searching also really difficult. If I have to search on YouTube how many videos are for big data, the search will be made on the basis of captions. It will not be made on the basis of videos, right? Maybe there is one person who is using the term big data 100 times in the video, right? But he forgot to name the video as big data. That search will not appear because the search engine only searched in the captions. The search engine did not search the unstructured data, did not search the video. So searching also is a big challenge for unstructured data. So now what are the possible solutions for storing unstructured data? Because at the end of it, we have to store it first, then we will process it, then we will analyze it, then we will see what else can be done. First challenge and the key challenge for unstructured data is storage. How are you going to handle that data? So you have the option to change the formats altogether, right? Like YouTube does. It changes your format. Once you upload your file, after uploading, it is going to process your video, and that takes 5-10 minutes. Those 5-10 minutes, the YouTube algorithm, the YouTube entire system, whatever they have implemented, that system is going to change the format of my video so that they are able to store it in a better manner. So that is one possible solution for storing unstructured data. New hardware can be used. Yes, it can be used because now the hardware is also coming with respect to storing such type of unstructured data. Then comes your RDBMS and blobs. Blobs stand for binary large object. B for binary, L for large, OB for object. It is basically like a bucket. See, if I give you a bucket, you can put anything in that bucket. You can put grains of sand or food or markers or paper or water or your books. All you have is a bucket. So blobs is basically a collection of binary data which can be stored in a DBMS. So what we do is, हमने ये बोला that you have a database. पहले उस database में rows और columns थे जिसमें हम store कर रहे थे data. We were storing particular data in particular fields. Now what we are saying, you have blobs. उन blobs में store whatever you want to store. Be it your images, be it your audio, be it your video, be it your web page, be it your multimedia object, any type of chunk of data which you want to store, that can be simply stored in a blob. ये बहुत recent है. It is not really old. Currently, many cloud service providers, especially Google and Amazon, they are using blobs. They will offer you buckets. Buckets is a term which is used. In those buckets, you can store any type of data you want to store. So that is also one of the possible solutions to store unstructured data. Then we have XML. So XML is your extensive markup language, and mostly it is used to, like HTML, we have hypertext markup language. Similarly, we have XML. It is also a markup language, but it is written in a format which is both human readable and machine readable. Particular keywords will be used which can be read by me as a person, but which can also be read by a computer as a unit, right? And those XML documents are going to define कि इसमें क्या data stored है. That this is the structure of a web page. इतनी ही images हैं, इतनी ही videos हैं, इतना ही text है, right? So you have put it into structure in a manner that 5 images are going to be there or 2 videos are going to be there. This structure is fixed. Currently, this is also being adopted to handle unstructured data, particular XML related files. XML क्या करेगा? It is going to give you a set of rules. These are the rules. In rules के according ये data यहाँ पे store हो सकता है. That is fixed. आपका जो freedom है, the freedom to do anything, वो हल्का सा restrict हो गया और उस restricted freedom से benefits बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. You can simply store everything, right? Not in any manner you want, in a restrained manner, but still it will give you a very richer ecosystem to store your data. Last is CAS, content addressable systems. CAS is another term, another type of a system which can be used to store unstructured data. This can be better understood with respect to content addressing and location addressing. Normally, in any type of storage device, in your systems also, if you want to retrieve anything, if you want to retrieve any element of data, you have to send the location of the data. You have to say that data is stored at so and so address, please retrieve it for me. That is your location addressing. For unstructured data, another type of storage is being proposed, which is content addressing, that you store data on the basis of content, not on the basis of location. So you have particular place for images, you have particular place for multimedia, for audio, for memos, for web pages. So that is also another prospect for storing unstructured data using content addressable storage and content addressable systems instead of location addressing systems. Now, what are the challenges faced while extracting information from unstructured data? So the first one is interpretation. Again, if I give you 1000 images, how are you going to interpret? Right? Interpretation is really difficult. Second is tags. Relational databases may, in your structured data, you can easily use tags that this data is for sales, this data is for inventory management, this data is for consumer behavior, this data is for selling patterns. But how are you going to do that with respect to unstructured data? What tags are you going to give? How are you going to decide which tag must be given? So it becomes difficult to classify and categorize unstructured data. Next is indexing. How will you index your data? Another challenge. Deriving meaning. Interpretation and deriving meaning, finding information. All of these are again challenges. How you're going to understand what is there in the video unless you analyze it. Right? So deriving meaning is a challenge. Taking out information out of that data is a challenge. Next is file formats. There is a plethora of formats which are available. How are you going to manage that? When images are going to be in 6 different formats, how will you manage? Audio is going to be in different formats. So managing of file formats is another issue. And last is classification and taxonomy. How you're going to classify, how you're going to categorize. What again, it comes down to structure. When we talk about computers, we die for structures. We need something which can be easily handled in zeros and ones, right? Over unstructured data, it gets difficult for us. So it is a big challenge, classification of unstructured data. Now, what are the solutions which can be deployed for this? Again, the first one is tags. If you see that on Instagram, on Twitter, tags are trending, right? And these platforms are supporting the use of tags. Why are they doing it? Tags कोई reason तो नहीं बन रहा. If you are putting something, if you're putting some caption, why do you need to put the tags? That is a very smart way which was used by social media sites to categorize your data so that they understand कौन सा डेटा कहाँ जा रहा है. Sentiment analysis can be done on your data. They can understand positives आ रहे हैं, negatives आ रहे हैं, right? If you tag your data, supposedly I upload the photo of my dogs. If I am doing that, what tag am I using? Hashtag dog, hashtag so and so breed. It makes it easier for their search in categorize that. They will know that if hashtag dog is used, then it must be a dog. Association made, right? Using tags can be one way of extracting information unstructured. Actually, we talked about the storage, how you can store, what are the challenges. Now we're talking about the solution used for extracting information out of your unstructured data. Next is text mining, which we do also. We mine the text, rigorously to understand what is there in the video, in image, audio. Use the text mining using different application platforms. Basically, YouTube for videos only, Patreon for content only, WordPress for websites, for blogs, particular application platform used for storing. Services which are offered cloud used for analyzing data sources. Then again, solution is using naming conventions. If you see over here, the challenge was in file format. Above in this, the storage challenges. There is the challenge associated with indexing, and with this, when we talk about extracting information also, a possible solution can be use standards. Don't have standards which are present. Again, coming to, they pre-process every video I upload because they want to change it, adapt it a particular format which they find suitable for their systems. So they pre-process it, they change the format. If you specify some standards, some conventions, then it will be easier to store your unstructured data and to take out information from that unstructured data. Semi-structured data we will later on. Let us just up once. Unstructured data. So we talked about the definition. Unstructured data is the one which does not conform to a data model. It does not have any identifiable structure. It cannot be easily used by a computer program. It is not organized in any manner. That is your unstructured data. Characteristics were, it does not fall to in the category of a data model. You cannot store the data in the form of rows and columns. No rules are followed, no semantics are followed, there is no particular format, no identifiable structure, and it is hard for using by computer programs. Next was sources of unstructured data. So you have web pages, you have images, videos, reports, Word documents, surveys, all of these. In this, if you talk about advantages also of structured data, advantages is it is helping us to generate data in the dimension where data did not exist in the previous era. We just talked about the structured data. Now it is giving the platform for unstructured stuff to emerge, for images and videos, for all the type of multimedia data to emerge, and the entire platform, storage, analysis, everything is being provided because the data is being generated. And you cannot constrain that data. It can grow anytime, maybe location based data, maybe missile based data. Again, another advantage for unstructured data is you can simply change it the way you want to, because schema is not present, there is no hardwired structure, and it is heterogeneous in nature. So you have so many types of data. Structured data is homogeneous in nature. because you have fixed tables and all. Unstructured data is heterogeneous in nature because you don't know who is going to generate it, in what quantity, in what format, from which object, from which place, save it in which format. It is really heterogeneous in nature. And we have, this was a simple example to make you understand that different components come together to give birth to unstructured data. Then we discuss the challenges faced while storing unstructured data. What are the solutions with respect to these challenges? What are the challenges faced while we extract information from data, and what are the possible solutions for that? Every slide has a potential question to be emerged for your exams. Just really understand the points, right? All